Why people give up on podcasting? That's the question. I've been asked this to answer for some time now. Many people ask me why I haven't give up on podcasting and why other people give up on podcasting. To answer this question, you need to ask yourself, each of you, if you give up on something in your life, why did you give up? What was the reason? Because giving up on something, it's very difficult choice for everybody because we all face different trials and tribulations. We'll face different obstacles. In podcasting, it's the same thing. I'll try to break down on 4 major points why people give up on podcasting. But first and foremost, let me share this with you. According to Riverside FM, there's almost 4.5 million podcast shows globally, with an audience of 584 million globally. So you have a 584 active listeners of the podcast shows. Yet you consistently seeing always over and over again, same names, same podcast shows, same host names, and your podcast, it didn't go nowhere. Well, let me start with this. Statistically speaking, podcast shows stop functioning, stop producing, stop emitting between the 5th and 7th episode, statistics speaking itself. During the lockdowns, during the COVID, many people opted to sit behind the screen, to watch, to listen, to observe, to learn, to share, and there was a much more podcast shows. However, once when the doors are open and the pandemic stopped overnight miraculously, many podcast shows stopped existing. However, 4.5 million shows actively are today in the world. On some way they are active. But yet you're seeing very few shows being promoted. You can see them everywhere. Your friends are listening, your friends are watching, your family members, but they don't care for your podcast shows. And why they should. You are at the bottom like myself. All of us. We need to fight our way up. We need to fight. Nobody who is now on the top tier, or let's just say 100 top podcast shows in the world, didn't rise overnight. It takes a lot of time. Except if you have millions of dollars on your account and you can hire the greatest team in the world and they're gonna do everything for you. But when you start your own podcast show, you invest your time, your money, your effort, and most importantly, your health, mental and physical. Frustrations, anxiety, everything's just wrapping inside like a mincemeat and wanna explode. That's what it is. Podcasting, it's a great avenue. It's a great platform to share your product, your services, to promote the books, your travels. You're not an influencer on Instagram where just need to have the good body and that's it. That's Instagram it is. TikTok as well, little videos. My mom bought the case for the glasses and this is how you open and who cares? Podcasting is the art. Mark my words. When I started my podcasting 3 years ago, my first viewer was my son. I begged my son, please watch my podcast. He told me, you're old. Your podcast show, it's all about espionage, Cold War. And I said, yeah, true. But please subscribe my channel. And, I begged my son to subscribe on my channel. I was being told as well by the people who never launched one podcast episode. One. Don't do it. It's quite discouraging. It's painful. You want to be there in arena with 4.5 million podcast shows to fight your way up, climb slowly. But again, it's not fast enough. So, reason number one why the most podcast shows fail, it's commitment and burnout. When you start your podcast show, you find a great name, you find, a couple guests, and then, you're realizing that podcasting requiring planning, scripting, recording and editing, marketing, promotion, and the list goes on. Podcast show is not just a press the button and that's it. That's what you can do, when you're on a Discord, as I see my son, they play the games, they are doing all this crazy stuff. They don't care who's gonna see, but they're doing because it's a fun for them. But when you're doing the podcast, you are the brain. And we're forgetting that we need to know what our podcast stands for. What's the purpose of our podcast? To serve you or the audience. It's feeding your alter ego, or you are educating or entertaining audience. That's the podcasting. Either you entertain or you're educating. Entertainment, you want to get the views quite quickly overnight. Put some inflammatory comments, make a fun of somebody, review some things, and people are going to say, oh, I like this. When you're educating people, when you're showcasing your knowledge, your product, your services, takes time. Nobody loves to sit and listen, once upon a time, my life was blah, blah, blah. It's hard, but you're going to find your audience. And according to Riverside FM, 584 million people listen actively podcast in 2025. There's a 3 major platforms: YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. That's the 3 major platforms where podcast comes and where the people are engaging. So when you put your podcast on Spotify, on Apple, on YouTube, that's where most of your audience is going to come, because those platforms are very engaging and people love those platforms. According to Riverside FM, by 2030, podcast industry is they projected $18 billion worth. $18 billion worth. So guys, if you start today, have 5 years to make your name. So number one reason, as I say, it's a burnout and commitment. You commit yourself, you have the desire, you have the goals, you want to do this, but yet you didn't understood fully that podcasting is not just to press the button. You need to plan, you need to script, you need to record, edit. Editing itself something which costs money. You can do editing on your own, or you can pay somebody else to do editing for you. Either way, it's a time and money consuming. So be prepared. Make a key objective. What your podcast is about. What's the purpose of your podcast? What do you want to achieve? And then you start planning and scripting. Then you need to record. Even today, when I'm done doing this video, I pressed this record button at least 10 times. Because I said to myself, oh my God, I forgot to say this. Today I scripted on a paper what I'm gonna talk about. Usually I do this on a teleprompter, or there's a tricks of the trade. But guys, once when you commit yourself to podcasting, do not give up. Do not give up. Do not be like others, be statistically pushed into that category between the 5th and 7th episode, they give up. Don't. Reason number 2, it's a lack of audience. As I said at the beginning, I beg my son, please, Matteo, watch my podcast show. Yeah, he did watch 10 minutes and he's like, Dad, that's boring. I'm not interested in spies and crime. I said, okay, that's true. So my audience is not my son. My son watched something else and somebody else. So I can't blame him for this. But most of you are gonna say, oh, I put my episode out and there's no audience, there's no engagement. And that's correct. What did you expect? You're on the bottom. Nobody cares for your podcast, but you will be discovered. Nothing grows overnight. Nothing. When you see the bamboo tree, right? You know what I mean? I love this metaphorical explanation. Bamboo has a biggest roots. But you see, when he starts growing, he just goes straight. It's go up, 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 so taller and taller and taller. But you need to grow your roots on a social media. People need to notice you. People need to see you. So don't be discouraged because there's no audience. I was being discouraged, and I was so many times in position to give up on my podcasting, but I didn't give up because I said to myself, I can do more. I can do more. Number 3 reason, it's a content creation and planning. When you know what your podcast stands for, what's the purpose of your podcast, and what you want to achieve with your podcast, key objective, you need to understand that you need to start planning your episodes ahead. No second episode, but 3rd and 4th and 5th. So you need to be constantly present on social media. That's the only way. Or you can create a couple of videos and say like, I saw the aliens are landing in my backyard. Yeah, it's interesting. Or someone's gonna sell you the story. You know what? One episode, 100,000 views. Yeah, one episode. Is that all what you want? One episode? If you really want to achieve something on podcasting, you need to be consistent. And that's what I ask you. Why do you see always the same podcast shows being promoted? Joe Rogan, Dario CEO, and the list goes on. PBD, many of them. Always there. Candice Owen, I just opened the X, it's usually same people. Tucker Carlson, they are there always. They're always upfront, the new episode, engaging with the audience, not just with a long interview episode, but they break down into small reels and they're engaging with audience all the time and feeding them back to the original long form content they have. So guys, you need to think about ideas, what you're gonna do, because that's where the people consistently falling short. They have no ideas. They start hard and then run out of ideas. And reason number 4, it's inconsistent quality. Now, I was being told that audio is very important, video is very important, and that's podcasting it is about. When number 1, it's you need to have a release schedule. That's what I have. I plan 2 weeks ahead. I go on YouTube. It's a free tool there as a part of your channel. You can see when your audience coming on your channel to watch. 1, 2, 3, 5, whatever they are. You can see the countries they're coming from. You can follow the trends, and the list goes on. So you need to be consistent about release of your videos, of your content. When you're releasing your videos, and if audiences sees that you are missing a longer period of time, everything what you have done, it's gone. They can't rely on you. They need to be constantly fed. So you need to think, how are you going to invest your time, your money to release your videos on consistent basis? And then ideas. When you know what your podcast show it is about, what stands for, you will have ideas. Sometimes you're gonna hit the wall. It goes without saying, I had so many times as well, I run out of ideas. But then I think myself like, okay, let me do something what I'm good at. Let me talk about espionage. So I created one episode about espionage, not just the interviews. So inconsistent quality can be video, can be audio. That's the 2 things people are, falling short. They change equipment, they change the people who do editing for them. They're not happy with editing, and frustration grows, anxieties, and people don't put out content because they think the video is not good, the audio is not good, or maybe they run out of ideas and they have nothing to post. And when you have nothing to post, your podcast show nobody will discover. So guys, I'm hoping that this is going to help you. For those who are interested, in my book Mike to Millions, feel free to check. It's on Amazon. I wrote this, so how you can build influence and authority and success in business based on podcast. But you can replicate this in life. So this is my experience in podcasting. I come from 0 to 200,000 on YouTube, but you can do more. So guys, feel free to check this book. It's on Amazon there. And as I said, it's gonna give you fresh ideas and give you much more than this couple minute video. So guys, don't give up. Whatever you do in your life, don't give up. This is very important to remember. You can do it. You must do it because you're gonna create a legacy. Whatever you create today, maybe it will not have hundreds of thousands of views, but 6 months time, 12 months time, your video is gonna start growing and growing. So don't listen and don't be discouraged by the people who tells you you can do this overnight. Nothing doesn't come overnight. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comment section below. Have you give up in your life on something, and why did you give up? So stay tuned, guys. We come more with the more answers about podcasting and why you shouldn't give up. Thank you for watching.